I don't know if y'all can see what's going on in the far distance, but there's a longhorn that's tangled up in some kind of trash there on this. Y'all see that? So I had come by to have a peek at these longhorns. I had texted the fella to see about getting a hold of a couple of I'm sorry, I can't talk. I'm trying to make sure that cow's gonna be okay. It looks like someone has hung a rug out on an old falling apart barn, and a longhorn has gotten stuck in the rug, under the rug. Now obviously there's no one living in that house, and that house there is abandoned. Probably another Hurricane Harvey flood victim. I talked to him. I found his number and we spoke on the phone yesterday, and I was going to come by today and we're going to talk about me maybe acquiring a few of his yearling females, the little females that were born last year, so Tex can kind of start his thing. But what this may end up turning into is more of a rescue. And so I'm going to walk over there now, even though I'm not really invited onto this guy's property without him being here. I just come by to look at them and from the fence. I didn't know I was going to come by and end up having to go help one of them out of a predicament. All right, let me try to devise a plan here. All right, so I did call and I have permission to perform a rescue. But what I'm also doing in the meantime is look at these little yearlings. Look at those girls. Hi. Oh my gosh. No, listen, so so there's a lot going on here, guys. There's a lot going on here. There's the bull. I don't know who's friendly and who's not. But reason I'm you're a cutie. Look at you. Your horns are so big. Now wait a minute. Why are her horns a lot bigger than Gracie's, who they'd be about the same age? Look at hers. Oh my gosh, look at hers. Y'all have some long horns. All right, so listen, here's our problem over here. Let's get over to our problem. So whoever abandoned this place over here probably did not realize there was gonna be a cows grazing around it. Now I'm not only watching the cows here, I'm watching for snakes, because this grass is, thank you. That little bull there is like, All right, so what we have over here is an old rug that someone has tied up or hung up to probably beat out like the old timers used to do. Oh, okay. And this little lady here has come by and gotten herself stuck in it. And these two friends of hers are trying to help her out. So he's not trying to help her out. He's got other things on his mind. But he's too young. All right, can I help you somehow? So what I'm going to do, we don't want the wire. I'm going to move the wire. That will avoid having any kind of a... Listen, I know... Okay, if you'll just let me help you. Or not. Okay, I'm going to take this down. I'm going to take this down so it doesn't happen again to anybody. So yeah, there are so many homes here, guys, that Hurricane Harvey, the flooding from Hurricane Harvey come up. And all right, I think that I'm not going to sit here and pick up anyone's trash, obviously. But I feel like that's, look at that. That bull, that little bull yearling is trying to take full advantage of that little female. Ooh. Okay, everything's good. I am leaving. Okay, so let me just walk through here and show y'all the bull. Since I do have permission to perform the rescue that I just performed, I didn't do a whole lot, did I? I didn't do much at all, actually. Oh, that looks snaky in there. I want to look at your horns. You are something else. Doesn't that look a little bit kind of buffalo-ish? Doesn't that look a little bit kind of buffalo-ish? Like ox. Like an ox. Hi. Now that's a bull there too. Now that's a couple of years old of a bull. So in case you're wondering why there might be more than one bull on a property. So listen guys, that's their main bull right there. Now Tex is quite a bit bigger than him. You can see his size. Our Tex is actually almost, I bet you in weight, I bet Tex probably almost doubles him in weight. But of course, Tex is a little bit, okay, Tex is a lot overweight. But I'll tell you what, those calves were pretty. Now, I don't think she's very pretty. I don't see her as being a very pretty calf. And she's young. She's also a yearling. But she might be having one of her first cycles. Now, look at this bull over here. He's handsome. Are you gentle or are you going to come up and be mean? I didn't bring any snacks. Uh-oh, she's calling her calf. Now, she's very pretty. Right now, you're probably saying, why are there multiple bulls in the same pasture? And guys, that's very common, very, very common. When you have plenty of heifers, that you know, these cows are herd animals. They are herd animals. I'm walking away. And they are going to, you're going to have the most dominant of the herd. And so even though you do have other bulls hanging around, because they know the little female's coming into heat, they're only going to be hanging around. He's not going to try to challenge the dominant male for breeding rights. That sounds horrible, I know. So see, here is another young bull. He was born this year. So, no, I did speak to the landowner. Now, they live up here in their big pretty house. And it's his cows that we're talking about. But he would be very interested in working out some kind of a deal on some females, possibly for one of my bull calves, which, as y'all know, that would be Santoro, because that's what you do when you get into a co-op. A good bull from a great pedigree, like any calf from Tex and Santana, would be worth 2 or maybe even 3 yearling females. And so what that guy would do is eventually bring a bull like Santoro in and move that bull along. Now, I've given y'all my promise that I'll never move Tex along. Tex will live his life and he'll die with me. And whenever Tex passes away, that's when I'll go ahead and just ride out the rest of my life with the herd that I have. I'm not gonna ever go into business like this guy here does. Look at all the calves. But so the problem is he cannot breed that same bull back to these females because these are his daughters. And so he would be wanting to move these along. And so I would come by and pick out the 2 or 3 that I wanted. There's a little bull right there. And so, you know what's scary is all of these yearlings are coming into heat. This is the time of year. They're going through their first cycles now. And if we're not careful, then they'll get bred. And that's more than likely a brother. And so, a brother from a different mother. All right, there's not a whole lot more to see or do here. But I tell you what, they got some pretty calves. Some pretty calves. Thought I was an ants. And that bull does produce some very nice longhorns. Look at the horns on these suckers here. All right, well, that rescue is done. Glad I could help. Now, obviously, there's a lot more up there. There's actually cows all across this pasture here. He is a nice herd. But I tell you what, he better be careful letting them live and graze along this old abandoned lot here, because things like that could have been bad. That cow could have gotten that rug wrapped around its neck and suffocated. So they have a very beautiful place here. And I'm excited about meeting the fella. And you never know. We may end up one day passing by and seeing the great Santoro in these pastures. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Look how beautiful their entrance is. Now, in case you can't tell, they raise big cats here also. They raise exotics along with their longhorns. So a lot of folks are going to be upset with the whole thing about Santoro not being able to live his forever life there with Tex and Santana and family. But guys, you have to understand that Santoro is a very well pedigreed bull, and his best life, I know you're thinking about what's best for you, but what's best for Santoro is to be his own Tex, to be the father and the protector of his own herd. And someday Santoro will be able to do that. I spoke with the landowner, the fellow who owns the longhorns, and he said that he'd been letting the cows in that pasture to help keep some of the weeds and stuff and the grass from growing all up. And he had no idea that there was things they could get into. And isn't it the way it is with animals? You never realize how much they can get into until they've gotten into it. And I'm thinking, that's the story of my life. But I bet you they were using that old rug to walk under to kind of brush the flies off their back. Because animals can be very creative when it comes to trying to find ways to, you know. And so I bet all those cows had at some point walked under that rug and let the rug wipe down their back. And that one there just got its horn stuck inside the fibers of the woven rug and couldn't get out. And the more they twisted and turned, the worse it got. But all's well that ends well. But no, just know that Santoro, we always knew that if Tex ever had a bull calf, we would not want to, give a snip and make it become a steer. And so Lester doesn't raise beef cows. I don't raise cows that are going to be sent off to slaughter. These are longhorns. These longhorns are not the cows you see in the slaughterhouses, friends. Longhorns are pasture maintainers. And so that's why people have longhorns. They're a very hardy cow that can eat all types of vegetation and thrive in parts of the country where other cows have a hard time getting by. But they're also in my opinion, they're also a beautiful cow, especially with the horns and the unique designs and all the shapes. And so we will see what the future holds. But I don't want you to be upset about the fact that Santoro will only be able to live there with us for a year or so before he has to move on. But that's always been, that's what you do whenever you don't have enough females. And what you don't want to do, what you never want to risk, is having your herd begin to interbreed. Tex will always be the leader of our herd, and any females that are born there will stay there, and they'll have to take their little band camp getaways every summer. They can eat things that other cows can't or won't. They're kind of like goats, but not quite as goaty, as nerdy as goats. So, all right, well, just to clear up that little part about the longhorns.